Well, it's my first year at Cannes, but it's not my friend Lauren's. Lauren Levac is executive director at the Digital Shelf Institute, and she and my arch nemesis, Colin Lewis, were discussing how the brands and the CMOs tended to hang out in the Palais section of the event with the Cannes organised programming and the creative award showcases, while the retail media networks and associated tech vendors and agencies mainly were cruising the Croisette. And this is what Lauren and Colin remarked on.
But that, I think, is a big change. That's a big change. And then not as many brands.
No, that's true. I think all the brand stuff is in the Palais itself. You can see a lot of people purely in the Palais looking at the awards. So there's a kind of like a church and state separation. There's all the people from the vendors and the retail media networks and the ad tech and Google, Facebook, everybody here. But then in the Palais, it's where the creative and the agencies and the brands are.
But I think that's a problem, right? Shouldn't we all be together having a joint conversation rather than having the creatives in the Palais and then the retail media networks outside?
It's a fair point, but anybody who's read any of my content, well, you'll see that I go and say, where are the CMOs? And they're not down talking to us mere peasants in the retail media world.
That is true.
Their observations perfectly capture the strange geography of influence here at Cannes, and it sets the stage for some other observations from my first day on the ground. Let's jump in. Observation number 2, Amazon's moment in the creative spotlight. So Andy Jassy was named Cannes Media Person of the Year yesterday. Cannes' rationale for this is that Amazon is the largest media platform globally and is setting a new model for media. And to me, it's the perfect vignette of where retail and commerce media sits in today's media zeitgeist. Cannes' Media Person of the Year list is kind of a roll call of era-defining platforms. Past recipients include the CEOs and founders of platforms like Google, Meta, YouTube, and Twitter. And of course, Cannes is a creativity festival, so honoring a retail-driven platform speaks to how the creative conversation now includes things like closed-loop sales signals, on-site sponsored products, and shoppable video. Observation number 3, the non-retail commerce media invasion. With the love between Cannes and Amazon being so strong this year, I wasn't surprised to see the enormous and luxurious Amazon port and how prominent a position it had at the event. But I was surprised to see the extent to which non-retail commerce media is out in force. Marriott, Chase, United Airlines, and a couple others all have big activations here, spruiking their media chops. They are newcomers, but have also been named as a critical component of commerce media's future diversification away from the humble sponsored product ad unit on a retailer website, as projected by eMarketer. Here's what eMarketer said a few months ago. Non-retail commerce media will grow at a faster rate compared to retail media, enjoying a compound annual growth rate of 34% between 2025 and 2028, compared to just 16.2% for traditional retail media. All we know for sure right now, though, is that these new commerce media players certainly seem willing to drop a bundle at Cannes this year, if only to will this future into existence. Observation number 4, the apocalypse in traditional publishing will come to commerce. Speaking of willing futures into existence, I caught Rachel Tipograph, the founder of MikMak, on the Croisette, and she had a particularly stark take on what's coming next. Let's listen to what she said.
So there's an interesting push and pull that's happening, and it's not unfamiliar to the industry. But everyone knows that AI is a tsunami that's coming. The publishers, the media companies are already feeling it in a significant way. They believe that there could be the death to the open web. brands, while they recognize that it could increase productivity in terms of workflow, they're holding on to the idea that AI can never be superior to a human creating breakthrough advertising. So I think there's a really interesting tension that exists right now at Cannes.
It's letting the fox into the house a little bit.
But my belief, and it's how I started MikMak, whatever happens to media will soon happen to the rest of commerce and advertising. And I think the fact that the publishers are scared shitless about their owned and operated channels and their ability to monetize should be a loud signal for the rest of the industry.
Where are you getting the impression that this goes to?
Yeah, but I have many friends within publishing. They're great people, and they're having very candid conversations in one-on-one environments telling me. Yeah.
It's a sobering perspective that the current disruption hitting traditional publishing is just a preview of what could be ahead for commerce media. And final observation, trade media is better than retail media. The future may be uncertain, but the present battle lines are clear. Yesterday, Albertsons announced a new partnership with in-store retail media provider Stratacash at the event. But some of the most candid insights actually came from Jodie Hallman, who is the Vice President of Integrated Marketing at Purdue, who didn't mince words about retail media's superiority. Let's listen to what she said.
And so that's probably been one of the biggest things for us to start to navigate, as well as, I would say, start to have hard conversations about trade. Because retail media is much better and more effective than just traditional trade solutions. And so for us, that's probably one of the biggest areas, right? Is us navigating, totally shift the mix and make sure that we're actually shifting into this space. And we know that it's more effective, but we also know that there is just this legacy of love for what's the deal?
Then Albertsons senior advertising and retail media sales executive Ben Richardson offered a counterpoint about the benefits of tighter internal coordination.
I don't want to be contrarian, but that we like to say that is one of our strengths. I've been at Walmart, I've been at Amazon, and I've seen in some cases there's a wall, or in some cases there's a starting to come together, and everyone is trying their version of it. But being smaller at Albertsons, I've already seen it, and our leadership ladders up to the same place. So the merchant team and the retail media network, the e-commerce team, the pharmacy, it's all pointing to the same direction and answering it. So there's less siloing. And so I'm optimistic that we're really getting in the same room. And yes, the media is a support function. So without Bayer products moving off shelves or chicken being sold, we have no data to support our media machine. But we are working very aggressively towards a unified, strategic, our JVPs incorporating the merchant side as well as the...
Show them how it's done.
That's the hope. You show me how you'd like it to be, and then we'll deliver it to you.
And finally, for something not Cannes related, in my piece for Forbes today, I unpack why 96% of media buyers say they'd shift budgets tomorrow if they could transact programmatically, yet most retailers are integrating with only a couple of DSPs out of the myriad that are available today. In this article, I break down sort of the DSP ecosystem and which DSPs are vying for a slice of retail media. Also, the practical factors that retailers use to pick who they're going to integrate with. Things like identity match rates, advertiser demand, brand safety controls, and the pros and cons of shortcuts like audience syndication. I'll link up to the article in the show notes. I'll link up to the full article in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow.